Hi, my name is Kaylin Caesar, and this is my screencast presentation of my Creating Innovative Uses of Technology project. I focus on two lessons, one with infographics and the other utilizing digital storytelling. So for my EDU 709 Innovative Uses of Technology course, I'm supposed to develop two lesson plans that involve innovative technologies in the classroom. And since I am not currently a classroom teacher, I am actually an instructional designer. So I was thinking about how I could incorporate innovative technologies into my higher ed courses that I'm currently developing. Which is what I do on a daily basis. And so I tried to think of two different innovative technologies that I've been wanting to use in higher ed courses, but I haven't really had the chance to use. So I've decided on using infographics in a psychology course and digital storytelling for a business course. So the rationale of my two lesson plans is basically the purpose of learning with these technologies is allowing instructors to add to the learning experience in their higher education online course. At the community college level, we provide workshop courses for instructors to attend in an effort to become more effective online teachers. In these workshops, instructors learn about different educational technologies to help create more engaging and effective courses. Two of the innovative technologies they learn about in these workshops are infographics and digital storytelling. So the psychology course can utilize infographics for different disorders, and the business course can utilize digital storytelling to go in depth on different legal terms. The psychology course has traditionally been focused on assessments like research papers, PowerPoint presentations, quizzes or exams, and discussion forums. But by implementing the use and development of infographics, students can really learn about the material and apply what they are learning to the creation of a product and a learning tool that others can use, which gives the tool depth and meaning. On the other hand, the business course covers a large amount of terminology, basically around 200 terms total, the whole course. And all these terms are regarding legal topics. So this really means that the course assessments are usually made up of chapter exercises, quizzes and exams, discussion forums, and interactive assignments. But by implementing the use and development of a digital story into the content, students can take on a term that means something to them or interests them and tell a story, fact or fiction, that others could relate to and learn more about the term in the real world. These are just some examples of what an infographic is if you've never seen one before. You have ones like the English language proficiency one, which is really organized by colors and sections. But then you have the Read a Poem Today, which is still organized with data at the top and some more visual engagement down below. But then you go to the house in the top right corner, information, and it's even an engaging way because you can think about your house set up to how this house is. And then the last one at the bottom is just a really well put together infographic, and it's very organized and structured, and you can clearly see how you're supposed to read it and take in the information. So students really can create any of these. Most of these are kind of on a higher level of technology development, but I think students could really create anything that they put their minds to. So the overview of this lesson is that students are being asked to research a specific disorder and present it through the form of an infographic. Graphics must contain text and correlating images, as well as a clear path for the reader to follow. The infographic must also be interesting, eye-catching, and effectively teach their reader about the disorder. And you could see in the infographic examples before how they're all pretty eye-catching, and they're all actually, even the house one is pretty organized. You can clearly see the information they all have images or graphs or something correlating to the text, which is really good to engage learners, and it's not overwhelming or overstimulating. So again, just some more examples. Students could create an infographic, like a chart describing a process related to the disorder, or an informational timeline of the occurrence of the disorder, some kind of a flyer to make people aware of the disorder, or, however they choose to present an overview of the disorder. It's really about their own creativity and imagination, which is what I really like about it. Even at a higher ed level, students can still get into this project. Just a little more of an overcap. So week 1, students will choose a specific disorder from a list provided by the instructor. Again, 1 student per disorder. So no duplicates. And then after they've chosen their disorder, the students will be introduced to infographics, what they are, why we use them, how to create one on the site Canva. And this will be done through mini tutorials, which have been developed by myself and another instructional designer that the instructors actually used in their innovative technology workshops. And the mini tutorials are already on Canva. It's through that company, which I'll show you in a minute. And all of this will lead them through the process of creating their own really effective and engaging infographic. However, starting with week 3 of the course, that will be when the first infographic is due. So different types of disorders are covered each week. So it depends on which disorder a student chooses, and that will be determined when their project is due. So the least amount of development time will be the students who choose a disorder that is being presented during the 3rd week of the course. However, they still have 2 weeks of introductions and review work of psychology to develop and turn in a highly effective project. All right, so some technology requirements before implementing infographics in the classroom. Really simple technology. They may look intimidating to create or even learn from, but they're really simple. You really only need a computer with internet access, as well as access to an interactive site like Canva. And as well as access to reference materials that students can get their information and or images from. So like a textbook or other sites on the internet. Before this assessment is used, a student should already have basic computer and knowledge skills, kind of like making sure that they can search the web for credible sources, use the internet correctly, be able to figure out how to use Canva to create an effective infographic only through the tutorials, maybe some questions with the instructor. But I guess this is already an online course, so they should already have some knowledge, some basic computer knowledge. And then the teacher should just be familiar with the process of infographics, as well as the site Canva or whatever program they decide to use. And the instructor should also have already previously attended a training workshop where they already learned in depth about infographics and how to incorporate them into their courses. And I mean, they're already teaching this course, but they should still be fairly familiar with the disorders that students will cover as well. All right, so the lesson procedures. We're going to start off again with the first week of the course, and students will have access to a Google Doc or the course wiki that contains a list of disorders that will be covered in class, and then students will go into the document and they'll type their name next to the disorder they would like to research and present. Again, 1 student per disorder, no doubles or partners, and this is the first week. After they have gone in and chosen their disorder to research, this is when they will become introduced to infographics and the project through a video conference that has already been pre-scheduled through a pre-class survey, depending on what students have answered. And the video conference will be held on the LMS that we use, Moodle, and the instructor will present information on the infographics, through a presentation uploaded to Moodle, kind of like this, like a screencast, but live. And then students will learn why infographics are useful, how they are used effectively, as well as a discussion centered on examples of effectively created infographics. So they'll have a chance to evaluate already created infographics with their instructor to make sure that they understand what an effective infographic holds. The instructor will also introduce the project overall to students and answer any questions students will have at the time. All right, so the next step is online tutorials and examples. Students will review and learn more about how to create their own infographic through pre-created text and image, as well as video tutorials that the instructional designers created for faculty workshops. There are pre-created tutorials on the web through the Canva site on how to use Canva, but the instructor, if wanted, could also develop their own set of Canva tutorials. Next comes the research part, and students will complete their research individually on the disorder they chose by utilizing their textbook as well as online resources. The amount of time they have for this step is dictated by the disorder they chose, because the due dates vary as each week contains different disorders. All right, so then after they've done their research, students will move on to developing their infographic on Canva. So this is the program, again, that students will use to create their infographics. They can sign up for free and start creating an infographic right away. Again, students' time limit on this step also depends on their specific due date. And once the due date has come, the Friday before the week of the module that contains their disorder, students will turn in their infographics through Moodle. The instructor has the weekend to review the infographics, and if any changes need to be made on the part of the student, they can be. And then if there's no changes that need to be made or changes that need to be made, the new infographic will be turned in Monday morning and will be simultaneously posted to the weekly module by the instructor for other students to review and learn from. Okay, so why choose infographics? Students are able to create an innovative teaching tool that uses interesting and innovative technology. So this encourages them more to learn about the content and really get into the material versus developing a research essay or a PowerPoint presentation where it's more kind of like a passive learning. Also, students will be learning from each other, which will encourage a type of motivation in them to develop a high-level teaching and learning tool, which kind of differs from the type of motivation that is encouraged when only an instructor is awaiting the tool, because they know that their fellow classmates and peers will be looking at this and trying to learn from their infographic. So it's more on them to put in the effort and really create this high-level, engaging, effective infographic for them to learn from. The majority of students today are into video games and other modern technology as their pastimes. Outside of school, they are used to learning from a variety of videos and images, but with infographics, they can learn about subject matter content in the same way. So infographics don't include videos. They can, but seldom they do. But between images with correlating text, it's more engaging than just reading only text or just looking at pictures. It puts the two together, and it makes students really see the connection of content. We've also learned about Richard Mayer's 12 Principles of Multimedia, and this discusses 12 means of how educators can enhance multimedia implementation into their classrooms. And the possibilities are endless on how infographics can be transferred to other teachers, subject areas, and even different schools. And with the internet, teachers and students and anyone can upload their infographics to any site or a wiki, in LMS, email, YouTube, anything, Twitter, and you can share your work with anyone from around the world. Teachers can share students' work with parents, or students can share their work with teachers over the internet. And really anyone can see them. And I mean, there's no problem implementing infographics. They can work in any grade level or classroom because it's just so simple to use them. And they're great. Students will like to learn with the text and images, and it's a really great learning tool. So let's go. This is Canva. This is the site that I would have students use to create their infographic. And there's some examples that have been created, and you can go in. And if you click on infographic, it comes up. And so you have all these different layouts on the left nonfiction. And now you can go in and you can edit it. So you can move them around. You can even type in them. It's really great. And so they have all these different layouts. There's just so many. And then the text, you can choose different types of text that you'd want. Different parts of the infographic could have different text or different colors. The background colors, even though you chose a layout template, you can still change the colors. And then here, you can choose from some grids. Different layouts. You could have 3 going across, or you could have 1 big, 1 small. You could put in some shapes, and you can type in those. You could put an image in them. There's just really so much that you can do. There's charts on here that you can put in. There's just so much that you can do, that this is just a great site. And then if you go back to the main site, you can click on Design School. And they have a blog here with all these different ideas of using infographics. And they have, this is where the tutorials are that students will use to create their infographic. There's many different topics. There's fonts, color, images, background, shapes, different ways to use them, how to effectively use them together. And then even for teachers, there's teaching materials, and there's different ways to help you get familiar and how you can teach Canva to your students to create an infographic. And there's 4 different workshops that you can choose from, and if you scroll down more, there's even created that you could use or create your own from, have it be inspiration for your own. So again, infographics they're really just a great innovative tool to use in your classroom. At any grade level, any age, it's worth it.